Have you ever woken up feeling like the day is already lost? Every morning, you have two choices. Keep telling yourself the same story that drains your motivation, or speak to yourself like someone who truly wants to change their life. My friend, what you tell yourself when you wake up isn't just a small detail. It's the script that shapes your destiny. So tell me, are you going to keep repeating the same excuses? Or are you ready to rewrite your story? Be honest, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Do you grab your phone to check what your favorite influencer posted? Or do you take a moment to be grateful for the blessing of being alive? And no, I'm not here to call you out. I just want to make you think. Today, I'm going to give you 12 phrases you should tell yourself every morning if you truly want to stop wasting your life. 12 Stoic principles that have helped the strongest people take back control of their lives. If you dare to adopt them, you'll start seeing real changes. More clarity, more control, more mental strength. But if you ignore them, you'll stay trapped in the dark. The choice is yours. Are you ready to learn how to tell yourself what you really need to hear? But first, let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates why the way you speak to yourself every morning can completely change your life. This is the story of John, a man who, like many of us at some point, felt trapped in a life that didn't make him happy. From the outside, everything seemed fine. He had a stable job, the kind that fills your fridge and your ego, a relationship that worked, and a clear plan for the future. But every morning, as soon as he opened his eyes, his first thought was always the same. Just another day, let's see how much I can take today. John didn't realize that with this simple phrase, he was programming his mind for exhaustion, discouragement, and frustration. But he had the perfect excuse to justify it. It's not my fault. Life is just like this. You can't feel motivated every day. And, well, the truth was, his life wasn't exactly inspiring. He would snooze his alarm until the last minute, rush out of bed, eat whatever was quickest, and barely make it to work on time. A job that never really excited him, but, of course, paid the bills. He spent the whole day waiting for it to be over, only to come home exhausted, with just enough energy to binge-watch series or scroll endlessly on social media. And then, the next day, the cycle repeated. But John had a justification for this routine too. You know why? Because he had become a master of excuses. I can't quit my job, there's no other option. It's normal to feel like this. Everyone does. When I have more time, I'll worry about making changes. From the outside, it seems sad, doesn't it? But from the inside, it's always easier to fool yourself than to face reality. And so, the years passed. Until one day, during a visit to his grandmother's house, John found himself confessing how hard it was to get out of bed each morning, how draining work felt, and how tough it was to live like that. His grandmother, a woman with a serene gaze and precise words, remained silent for a few seconds before responding. Do you know the first thing I tell myself every morning? John shook his head. I tell myself, today I have the opportunity to live with purpose, because it doesn't matter if my body is tired, if there are problems, or if the day seems difficult. My mind is in charge. What I tell myself when I wake up is the first stone I lay for the day ahead. If that stone is weak, everything else collapses. John looked at her skeptically, but she smiled and continued. When I was young, I used to say the same things you do. I'd wake up complaining, dreading the day ahead, thinking about everything I had to do and how little I wanted to do it. Until one day, I asked myself, what if I changed the way I talk to myself in the morning? Not my job, not my whole life at once, just my thoughts when I wake up. Do you know what happened? Everything else started to change on its own. John spent the rest of the day turning his grandmother's words over in his mind, feeling both skeptical and intrigued. That night, he couldn't stop thinking about what she had said. The next morning, instead of repeating his usual phrase, he forced himself to whisper, I'm going to start this day with intention. He didn't feel a huge change immediately, but something in his mind clicked. Over the next few days, he started experimenting with new affirmations. I'm going to find something positive in what I do today, or I'm capable of facing any challenge. And little by little something happened. His way of living started to shift. He noticed he was snoozing his alarm less because he actually felt like starting his day. His commute to work was no longer just a routine, but a chance to listen to something inspiring. His conversations changed because he spoke to himself differently, and that reflected in his attitude. And that's when the magic happened. He realized the problem had never been the routine or the job. It was the way he spoke to himself every morning. Because when he changed his thoughts, his entire life started moving in a new direction. Now tell me, what's the first thing you tell yourself every morning? Because those words have more power than you think. Today, we're going to explore 12 affirmations that can transform your days, and with them, your life. But before we dive in, let me know in the comments, are you ready to speak to yourself with clarity and create the life of your dreams? Or just type, Stoic at heart. Let's make this space a place where we all start the day with the right mindset. Let's begin. 1. Nothing and no one can take away my peace. Every morning, the world keeps spinning without waiting for anyone. You wake up, the clock keeps ticking, traffic roars, people talk, chaos is endless. And yet, there is one thing only you can control. How much of that chaos will affect you? Think about it. How many times have you woken up feeling completely calm, only for something external to snatch that peace away within minutes? That message from your boss, I need you to come in early. That annoyed look from your partner, you left the dishes unwashed again. Or that random, unnecessary comment from a stranger on the street. You think, why me? I should have just stayed in bed. It's as if, every morning, you carry a jar full of peace, only to spill it at the first stumble of the day. But let me tell you a not-so-secret truth that the Stoics have been teaching for centuries. It's not what happens that steals your peace. It's how you choose to react. Marcus Aurelius made it clear, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And that's the great difference between those who are enslaved by the outside world and those who find their inner power. If anyone can alter your mood, do you know what that means? It means you are their slave. It means you've handed over control. Do you really want to keep giving your peace away to every person who crosses your path? Now you might be thinking, I can't help it if things affect me, I just react. But the truth is, you can. Peace isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about learning to navigate through it without losing your balance like a tightrope walker on a unicycle. Imagine your mind is a still lake. If someone throws a stone, the water ripples, but only for a moment. Then it returns to its natural state. The difference between someone who is constantly at war with themselves and someone who has mastered their mind is how long they let the waves disturb them. And here's the most important part. The stones will always be there. Traffic will still exist. People will still have opinions, and the world will keep moving forward without asking how you feel. But your inner state doesn't have to dance to the rhythm of it all. That's why, every morning when you wake up, tell yourself, nothing and no one can take away my peace. Let this phrase become the shield you wear throughout the day, because when you remember that your inner state isn't dictated by external events, you start living differently. Before you step out into the world, before you check your phone, before you face whatever the day brings, pause for a moment. Remind yourself that you decide what to let in and what to let pass. Because peace is not a gift the world gives you. It's a choice you make every day. And today is the day you decide that nothing and no one will take it away from you. 2. Today is not just another day, it's a new opportunity. Every morning you wake up. But tell me, do you really wake up, or do you just leave sleep behind to continue living on autopilot? Most people open their eyes and follow the exact same script as yesterday, and the day before, and the one before that. But here's the truth you need to remember. Today is not just another day. Today is a new opportunity. Think about it. You have two choices. See this day as a mere repetition or as a blank page where you can write something different. The difference isn't in the day itself, but in the attitude you bring to it. Do you think Marcus Aurelius woke up saying, "Another day just like yesterday, let's see if I can make it to the night"? Not in a million years. He knew that each day was a test, an opportunity to sharpen his character, to strengthen his resolve, to put philosophy into practice. Picture him waking up in his tent before battle, carrying the weight of an entire empire on his shoulders. He could have given in to complaints, fatigue, or fear, but he didn't. He rose with the conviction that no matter what the day brought, he would use it to grow. Now tell me, what's your excuse for seeing today as just another repetition? And this isn't just philosophy, it's science. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people who start their day seeing it as a new opportunity perform better, experience greater satisfaction, and feel less stress. What a powerful combination, don't you think? But what does that actually mean in real life? Think about a Monday morning. If you wake up saying, "Ugh, another week," your brain immediately lowers its energy and motivation levels. But if instead you think, "This is my chance to improve, to move closer to my goals," the chemistry in your brain changes. You literally reprogram yourself to act differently. Picture it like an airport escalator. You have two options. You can stand still and let the day carry you forward at its usual pace, or you can walk, deciding how fast you move. Most people stand still, letting routine drag them along, never realizing they can accelerate their own journey with a single conscious step. And here's the twist. You don't need your entire life to change to see each day as an opportunity. You just need to change the way you look at it. Every morning is like a sunrise over a mountain. You could be standing there with the most breathtaking view in front of you, but if you keep your eyes closed, all you'll see is darkness. The landscape doesn't change. The difference is in your decision to open your eyes. So tell me, are you going to keep waking up as if you're reliving the same day over and over again? Or are you going to open your eyes with the certainty that today is a chance to make the most of this new opportunity? Because the only thing truly in your hands is how you choose to live this day. 3. I am the master of my day. Tell me something. Are your days truly yours? I know, it sounds like a strange question, but think about it. Those mornings when you barely open your eyes and notifications are already waiting, people are demanding your time, and you have commitments you don't even remember agreeing to. Days that fly by so fast that when night falls, you ask yourself, where did my time go? And the worst part is, you don't even know. Do you see it now, my friend? That day wasn't yours. It belonged to everyone else, to their demands, their emergencies, their expectations. But listen closely. That ends today, and I'll tell you how. It's not a trick, and it's not some magic formula. It's the simplest and most powerful truth you need to repeat to yourself every morning. I am the master of my day. Let me share a true story with you. A while ago, I met up with an old friend, Andrew. We sat down at a cafe, and the moment he got comfortable, he let out a long sigh like he had been holding it in for days. "Ah, man, I don't know what's wrong with me," he said. "I feel like I have no time for anything, like I'm not doing what I want, and my days just slip away." I listened carefully. He told me his routine was pure chaos. Every morning, the first thing he did was check his phone. Before even getting out of bed, he was already bombarded with work messages, last-minute obligations, favors he didn't even remember agreeing to. Then, the rest of his day was spent putting out fires, solving problems that weren't his, letting everyone else decide how he should spend his time. And by the time night came, he was so exhausted that all he wanted to do was disconnect, scroll mindlessly on his phone until he fell asleep. I looked at him and asked just one question. Who's making the decisions here? Is it you, or is it everything around you? I saw the silence hit him like a heavy weight. He stared at his coffee, stirring it absent-mindedly. "I never thought about it like that," he murmured. I told him the truth he needed to hear. Your time is yours. But if you don't protect it, there will always be someone willing to take it from you. And I reminded him of a powerful quote from the Stoic philosopher Seneca. Life is not short. We make it short. We waste most of it on unnecessary worries. That day, Andrew made a commitment to change, not by becoming a completely different person, but with one simple habit. Every morning, before touching his phone, before answering to anyone, before letting the world decide for him, he would say out loud, "I am the master of my day." Then, he would take a moment to decide what his priorities were for the day. I won't lie to you, there were no instant miracles. The first few days were tough. The habit of checking his phone was still there. The temptation to say yes to everything still lingered. But little by little, Andrew started to notice something. The things that once seemed urgent weren't so urgent when he chose when to deal with them. When someone tried to take advantage of his time, he reminded himself that the choice was his. When his own mind told him to let another day slip by without trying something new, he redirected it. A month later, we met again, and I can't tell you how happy I was to see the difference in him. "You have no idea how different I feel," he said, with a smile I hadn't seen in years. For the first time in a long time, my days belong to me. The difference between those who feel like life is slipping through their fingers and those who live with intention comes down to this: you decide what you allow and what you don't. So tell me, are you going to keep letting the days pass you by? Or will you decide, like Andrew did, that every minute is yours? Because the truth is simple. Either you are the master of your day, or you will be a slave to it. 4. I am the captain of my mind. Ah, the human mind, my friend. A magical tool that can catapult us to success or drag us into misery. The mind is like a ship sailing across an endless ocean, facing the waves of thoughts and the storms of emotions. But here's the key. You are the captain of that ship. If you don't take the helm, life will push you out to sea, adrift, lost, and without control. But when you grip that wheel with confidence, you can steer toward the destination you choose, no matter what storms you face. Let's be honest, sometimes emotions lift us up and sometimes they hit us like fierce winds. And do you know what makes the difference? Exactly, you. Tell me, what about you? Do you let yourself be tossed around by the ocean of emotions, or do you choose how to navigate despite them? Think before you answer. When faced with criticism or an uncomfortable situation, do you react by making a sharp emotional turn, or do you grab hold of reason before responding? I know. It's not always easy to stay in control. I used to be the same way, a victim of my own emotions. When I received negative feedback or things didn't go my way, my first reaction was to let anger take the wheel. But Stoicism taught me a crucial lesson. My emotions are not the helm. They're just the wind blowing through my ship. And you know what? I am the captain. Think about it. If you are the captain of your ship, emotions should never be your guide. Imagine a race car. What good is having the most powerful engine if you don't know how to control it? The mind is like that car. It's capable of incredible speed, but if you let go of the steering wheel, do you think you'll reach your destination? Of course not. You'll crash at the first turn. So let me make this crystal clear, my friend. You are the captain of your mind. And that's exactly what you should remind yourself of every morning. If you don't take charge of your mind, your day will turn into a meaningless list of tasks, impulsive decisions, and automatic reactions that do nothing for you. But if you become the captain, what you think becomes what you live. You will make conscious decisions, choose your thoughts, and live each day with purpose. As Nelson Mandela once said, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." This phrase perfectly reflects the power you hold over your mind and your life. No matter what happens around you, what truly matters is how you choose to respond. True control lies in how you manage your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If you let circumstances take over, you'll lose your way. But if you speak to yourself like a captain, you become one. The wheel of your life is in your hands. So tell me, are you going to keep letting the waves of chaos and emotion steer you? Or are you going to take control and sail toward that paradise called mental clarity? Because when you take the helm, you decide the course. 5. Today I build my future. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning and instead of feeling like it's just another ordinary day, you tell yourself that today you are building the future of your dreams. Sounds inspiring, right? Well, it's not just inspiration, it's reality. Because while many people think of the future as something distant, the truth is that you build it with what you do every single day. My friend, the future is not a place you stumble upon by accident. No, the future is a destination shaped by what you decide today, by every action you take, no matter how small it seems. Otherwise, why do you think some people achieve everything they set their minds to, while others just keep ending up in the same place over and over again? Think about the daily decisions you make, those small choices in your everyday life. When you choose to get up early and exercise instead of sleeping in, you're laying a brick in the foundation of a healthier future. When you decide to study a little longer instead of getting lost in social media, you're adding another brick to your professional growth. And all of that, my friend, starts with what you tell yourself first thing in the morning. If you wake up thinking, just 5 more minutes in bed, I really don't feel like working today, do you think your future will look the same as if you said, let's go, today is a great day to improve the skill I want to master? Of course not. Those words change everything. What seems insignificant today will become the foundation of your success tomorrow. As Marcus Aurelius said, a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. If your thoughts are focused on action and progress, your future will reflect exactly that. Picture your future like a river flowing toward you. Every action you take is like a stone thrown into the water. At first, you don't see much change, but over time, as the stones pile up, the river shifts its course. If you throw your stones with intention, the river follows your direction. That's how life works. What you do today, whether you notice it or not, will shape the path ahead. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, talks about how small daily actions, the ones that seem insignificant, can transform your life over time. Have you heard of the concept of improving by just 1% every day? A steady, gradual improvement that doesn't seem like much at first, but over time completely changes the trajectory of your life. And this isn't just a theory. Studies confirm it. People who develop small, consistent habits day after day are far more likely to achieve long-term success. Now imagine what would happen if today, right now, you decided to take that first step toward what you want to achieve. Just one small step, but one that will make a huge impact on your future. What I'm telling you is simple. Today is the first day of your future. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. Life is not about waiting for something to happen. It's about being the cause of it happening. The future won't just land in your lap. You build it today with the thoughts you choose and the actions you take. So stop waiting for some big change. Start building it. If today you decide to be more disciplined, to commit to what you've set out to do, you are already creating a future full of achievements. Now, how do you move from theory to action? First, do something small but meaningful every day. You don't need to make drastic changes, but if you take one small step in the right direction each day, you'll already be on your way. Second, establish habits that move you closer to your goals. What is one thing you can do today that will bring you closer to the future you want? And most importantly, don't wait until tomorrow. The perfect moment doesn't exist. If you keep waiting for the right time, it will never come. Act today, and your future will be built on what you do now. 6. I let go of what is not in my control. Every morning when you open your eyes, you have 2 choices. Cling to everything you can't control and exhaust yourself, or let it go and focus on what is actually in your hands. And here's the key. What you tell yourself when you wake up determines which choice you make. Think about this. How many times have you started the day worrying about something that isn't even up to you? A pending argument, the fear of what someone might say about you, an uncertain situation at work. I get it, it's human. But what's the point of stressing over things you can't change? It's like carrying a backpack full of heavy stones that don't even belong to you. I remember an old friend who was trapped in this habit. Every morning, the first thing he did was check his phone, starting his day with anxiety. If he saw a message he didn't like, if someone didn't reply the way he expected, his entire mood would shift. And he didn't realize that in reality, he was handing over his peace to things beyond his control. Until one day, I asked him, "Do you realize that you could be at peace if you simply let go of what isn't in your hands?" At first, he resisted my logic. Of course, he had spent years tying his emotions to external events. But I insisted, explaining what the Stoics had taught us. Apparently, he trusted them more than me. That's when he finally understood. The problem wasn't what happened, but how he attached himself to it. He started repeating to himself every morning, "I let go of what is not in my control." And little by little, he stopped giving so much weight to what wasn't his to carry. He went from starting his day in stress to beginning it with calm, because he no longer needed external circumstances to feel at peace. As Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control, and others are not." True peace comes from knowing the difference. If something isn't in your hands, why do you keep giving it space in your mind? Think about it. Can you control traffic? Of course not. Can you control what others think of you? No, neither can you. And what about your neighbor's dog barking at 5 in the morning? Not a chance. But guess what? You can control how you react, how you approach the day, and where you place your energy. It's like trying to catch smoke. You can see it, you can feel it, but the moment you try to hold on to it, it slips away. Do you see it now? Control is just an illusion. Now tell me, what would happen if today you let go of the thing you've been carrying for too long? That worry that steals your peace, that expectation that isn't up to you, that need for everything to go exactly as planned. How would your life change if instead of wasting energy on what you can't control, you invested it in what you can actually do? As Marcus Aurelius said, "Let things flow without forcing them." You can't control how others react, or the future, or many of the situations that arise, but you can control how you respond and how you choose to live. That is your power, and it's a big one. So here's what you do, just like my friend did. Every morning, ask yourself, is this in my control or not? If the answer is no, let it go before it drags you down. Shift your focus to what you can control, your attitude, your discipline, your decisions. That's where your real superpower is, and when something external tries to steal your peace, take a deep breath and repeat, "I let go of what is not in my control." Make it your daily mantra. Now tell me, my friend, what are you letting go of today? What's that one thing that's been weighing you down and you just can't seem to release? Share it in the comments. We want to hear from you. Because in the end, learning to let go is the first step toward living with true freedom. 7. Today I will be better than yesterday. Every morning when you wake up, you have two choices. Remain the same as you were yesterday, or tell yourself that today, you're going to surpass yourself. It doesn't matter if you failed yesterday, if you hesitated, if you left things unfinished. The only thing that truly matters is what you do today. Let me tell you a story. There was once a merchant who had everything anyone could ever desire: wealth, success, a comfortable life. But in a single day, he lost it all. A fierce storm sank his merchant ship, swallowing all his cargo. His fortune disappeared to the bottom of the sea. His life, as he knew it, was over. Imagine what he must have felt. Most people would have drowned in despair, cursed their luck, and said, "My life is ruined." But not him. He told himself something different. He made a promise. He would move forward, even after losing everything. Instead of giving up, he started walking. No money, no clear direction, but with one absolute certainty: he would not remain stuck in his misfortune. They say he eventually arrived in Athens, where he heard a man speaking about philosophy. And at that moment, something clicked inside him. He couldn't change what had happened, but he could change what he did next. My friend, do you know who I'm talking about? That merchant was no ordinary man. He was Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, and it was his ruin that led him to become one of the greatest minds in history. Or better said, it was what he told himself after losing everything that makes us remember him today. Not only did he overcome the worst moment of his life, but he turned it into the very thing that saved him. If his ship had never sunk, he might never have found his true purpose. Now tell me, how many times have you stayed stuck in what you lost, in what didn't work out, in what didn't go as planned? What if, instead of lamenting, you did what Zeno did? What if each day became a new opportunity to grow, to learn, to become better? Marcus Aurelius made it clear. Look within. Inside yourself is the source of good, and that source can keep flowing as long as you choose. Today you can keep dragging along yesterday's excuses, or you can take action, even the smallest step, to move forward. It doesn't matter if you didn't follow through on your goals yesterday. If you felt stuck, what matters is that today, even if it's just one small step, you move closer to what you want. Think about this. Every day is a blank page, and you decide whether to write a story of growth or a story of stagnation. And that story, my friend, begins with what you tell yourself when the sun rises. When you wake up, choose something you want to improve and take even the smallest action toward it. You don't need a radical change, just consistency. Before going to bed, ask yourself, what did I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? This will force you to see progress, even if it seems small. And when dealing with others, don't compare yourself to them. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Because the only thing that matters is that today you are moving forward. 8. My actions will speak for me. Tell me something. How many times have you heard someone promise something they never follow through on? That partner who swore 1,000 times they'd always be there, who promised they'd change, who assured you that this time they'd get it right. But when it mattered most, their word dissolved like smoke. That coworker who always promises to help but vanishes when you actually need them. Or that friend who paints themselves as a brother, but when the tough times come, doesn't even reply to your messages. Convenient, isn't it? Somehow their phone always loses signal exactly when you're in trouble. My friend, what you tell yourself every day is important, yes. But guess what's even more important? That you follow through. The Stoics were crystal clear about this. Don't talk about what you're going to do, just do it. Be the one who acts in silence and lets the results speak for themselves. Because people forget what you say, but they remember what you do. Imagine a warrior stepping into battle, boasting about how strong he is, how unstoppable he'll be, how glorious his victory will be. But the moment the first clash of swords echoes, he freezes, retreats, and runs away. What do his words mean now? On the other hand, the true warrior doesn't need to boast, because when the time comes, he simply acts. Now tell me, what have you promised to do but keep putting off? How many times have you said, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to stop complaining. I'm going to change my life, only for days to pass with nothing changing? My friend, there's no excuse. This is serious. This is your life. Do you know how Epictetus put it? Don't explain your philosophy, live it. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are or what you want to do. Your actions should already be saying it. If you want to be disciplined, get up and do what you said you would do. If you want respect, earn it through your actions, not empty words. If you want change, make it happen quietly and let the results speak for themselves. It's easy to say what you're going to do. The hard part is backing up those words with action. But here's the big difference between those who truly move forward and those who merely daydream about change. The ones who move forward don't talk much. They do more. You don't need to announce your plans to the world, just act. Use your words to motivate yourself, inspire yourself, commit to yourself. But then, back them up with actions so clear they're undeniable. If you say you're going to do something, keep that promise. Not because others expect it, but because a person who betrays their own word will never feel proud of who they are. Think about it. What impact would it have on your life if, instead of talking about what you're going to do, you simply did it? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you stayed stuck in theory and never moved into action? 9. Today I face the day without fear. Ah, fear, my friend. That unseen enemy that you know lives inside you. Listen closely. You are not the only one who feels it, but you are the only one who decides what to do with it. And that's the question you must ask yourself. What do you tell yourself when fear creeps into your mind? Do you repeat that you can't do it, that it's too much, that you're better off staying where you are? Or do you tell yourself with unwavering determination, today, I face the day without fear. No matter what comes, I will not stop. Because here's the truth. Fear only has power if you give it power. Psychology has studied this time and time again. Fear is a natural reaction of the brain, a defense mechanism triggered by the unknown. But here's the trick. Your mind doesn't know the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. If you constantly think of the worst-case scenario, if you let yourself get trapped in anxiety over what could happen, your body reacts as if you were actually in danger. Let's be honest. If you find a tarantula in your garden, running away is natural. It makes sense. It's human. But if you have a big presentation at work, do you think those same feelings of wanting to run to escape are really necessary? Probably not. Your brain thinks there's a real threat. But is there, really? Is your life at risk? If there's no tarantula in the room, I don't think so. And don't get me wrong, I know fear is part of being human. I'm simply asking you to analyze it, to have a conversation with yourself, so you can learn to separate real danger from imaginary fear. And do you know who understood this better than anyone? The Stoics, masters of the human mind. To them, fear wasn't an enemy, but a teacher. The goal wasn't to eliminate fear, it was to stop letting fear dictate their actions. Now tell me, do you think Marcus Aurelius, in the middle of war, leading an entire empire, hid inside his tent, trembling at what might happen? Do you think he told himself, "This is too much for me, I'd better stay hidden until it's over"? Of course not. He knew the only way to overcome fear was to face it head-on and move forward anyway. As he wrote in Meditations, "If you face adversity with fear, you will suffer twice, once from the fear itself, and once from reality." Fear doesn't disappear just because you want it to. It disappears when you speak to yourself with confidence and take action despite it. It's like a shadow that looks enormous from a distance, but when you step closer, you realize it was only an illusion. So tell me, how many times have you let fear hold you back? How many opportunities have you missed because your mind told you that you weren't ready? Listen to me. Today is not a day to hide. Today is the day you decide that fear will not be the one making your choices. If there's something you're afraid to do it anyway. Don't wait until you feel ready, because you never truly will. Fear fades when you take the first step. Start small, but start. And the next time fear tries to stop you, speak to yourself like a warrior. No matter what comes, I will not stop. Because fear only wins when you decide to surrender. And you know what? Today is not that day. 10. I will learn from the obstacles life puts in my path. If there's one thing certain in life, it's this: obstacles will appear. There is no path without stones, no success without setbacks. When life places a challenge in front of you, what matters isn't the size of the problem, but what you tell yourself about it. Two people can face the exact same difficulty, yet while one thinks, "Why does this always happen to me? I can't take it anymore," the other says, "There's something here I can learn. How do I overcome this?" And that difference changes everything. Imagine that you prepared for a job interview thoroughly, your dream job. You finally got the opportunity. You practiced over and over what you were going to say. Nothing could go wrong. But in the end, you weren't selected. What a disappointment. You now have two choices. You can tell yourself it was a failure, that you're not good enough, that you'll never get what you want, or you can see it as an opportunity for improvement. Analyze what you can do better, what you can learn from the experience, how to use that rejection as motivation to prepare more, and find something even better. Do you see the difference? It's not the situation that defines your future, it's what you tell yourself about it. Psychology has proven that people with a growth mindset face challenges as opportunities, while those with a fixed mindset see them as personal failures. Psychologist Carol Dweck studied this extensively and discovered that those who see mistakes as lessons ultimately achieve much more than those who only focus on avoiding failure. And the Stoics understood this perfectly. They didn't see obstacles as something negative, but as the raw material for growth. As Seneca said, "Nothing strengthens us as much as a blow that does not kill us." Every stumble, every difficulty is a disguised opportunity. You don't have control over what happens to you, but you do have control over how you choose to interpret it. When life puts a challenge in front of you, you can complain, or you can ask yourself, "What is this teaching me?" The difference between those who move forward and those who stay behind lies in what they tell themselves in difficult moments. Maybe today you'll face a problem at work, an argument with someone important, or a situation that didn't turn out as you expected. You can see it as a disaster, or you can say to yourself, "This is teaching me something. This is preparing me for something better." But how do we put this into practice? Here are 3 ways to do it. Every time you face an obstacle, ask yourself questions instead of complaining. Ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve?" Also, change your internal language. Instead of saying, "This is a disaster," say, "This is an opportunity for growth." It may sound simple, but your mind reacts to the words you choose. And another wonderful trick: adopt the learner's mindset. Instead of resisting problems, embrace them as part of the journey. Life isn't about avoiding difficulties, but about learning to overcome them. My friend, don't let obstacles stop you, let them shape you. Yes, I know it sounds easier than it actually is, but it's worth trying. Because problems don't come to stop you, they come to strengthen you. So the next time life puts a stone in your path, remember, it's not a wall, it's a staircase. 11. My decisions guide my life. Every morning when you wake up, you have a unique opportunity to decide how your day will unfold. And the best way to remind yourself of this is by speaking to yourself. Let me suggest a powerful phrase: "My decisions guide my life." Because believe me, if you don't take control, someone else will do it for you. Life is like a crossroads. Every choice brings you closer to or further from what you truly desire. You can stand still, waiting for someone to tell you what to do, or you can grab the wheel and take the path you truly want to follow. Look at Oprah Winfrey. As a child, she lived in extreme poverty, suffered abuse, and faced constant rejection. She could have let her past dictate her future. She could have taken the easy path of giving up, but she chose something different. She decided that her story would not define her. She would be the one to write her future. Today, her success is no accident. It is the result of the brave decisions she made when everything seemed to be against her. Now tell me, how many times have you avoided making a decision because fear paralyzed you? How many times have you thought, "I don't know if this is the right time," and let doubt take control? But here's the truth. If you don't decide for yourself, someone else will decide for you. Picture this. You are offered an opportunity at work. It's a new position, more responsibility, a better salary. But it requires stepping out of your comfort zone. You have 2 choices. You can say to yourself, "I don't know if I'm ready. What if I fail?" Or you can look in the mirror and say, "My decisions guide my life, and I choose to grow." You take the leap, accept the challenge, and months later you realize that opportunity was exactly what you needed to move forward. Because brave decisions always bring rewards. It's like a ship in the open sea. If you don't choose a course, the currents will drag you anywhere. If you don't take charge of your life, you will end up living according to someone else's plan. Seneca put it bluntly, "If you don't know which port you're sailing to, no wind will be favorable." It's not about waiting for absolute certainty. It's about choosing, moving forward, trusting that any step is better than staying stuck. So here's an uncomfortable truth. Every time you postpone a decision, you are choosing to stay in the same place. Not deciding is a decision in itself. Before leaving your house, look in the mirror and repeat, "My decisions guide my life." Let this phrase serve as a reminder that you are not a spectator, you are the protagonist. If you keep doubting, life will stay the same. But if you decide with confidence, everything changes. It doesn't matter whether it's a small decision or a life-changing one. The important thing is that you take control. And if you're still unsure, remember this: there is no perfect decision, but the worst decision will always be doing nothing. So ask yourself, what decision have you been avoiding? What door do you need to open today? Because life doesn't wait. Either you choose or the world will choose for you. And now, my friend, listen carefully, because what comes next is what will truly make each day count, what will set you apart. Because you can make brave decisions, take control of your path, and face every obstacle. But if you don't choose to live with greatness, everything else loses its meaning. 12. Today I choose greatness. You may not realize it, but every morning, you decide whether to remain the same as always or to take a step beyond. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter what mistakes you made in the past. Today is a new opportunity to live with strength, with clarity, with purpose. Because life is not just about existing, it's about truly living. It's about choosing each day with determination, acting with courage, and moving forward with the conviction that you are capable of more. Do you know what sets apart those who leave a mark from those who merely pass through life? The choices they make every day. Not one grand decision, not some epic movie moment. It's the small daily choices that build a life of greatness. The problem is that too many people go through life on autopilot, doing what's expected, following the routine, repeating the same patterns over and over. But tell me, is that the kind of life you want? Or do you want to be one of those who wake up each morning knowing they are building something truly worthwhile? Marcus Aurelius put it plainly: rise and move forward. Stop wasting time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And I think we can agree that Marcus Aurelius knew a thing or two about greatness, right? It's that simple. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop thinking about what you'll do someday. Today is the only day you truly have, and what you do with it will make a difference. If you want your life to change, start by changing how you live each day. If you want to be strong, rise with determination. If you want to be disciplined, do what you said you would do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple. Be who you want to be, no matter what it takes. There are no magic formulas, no shortcuts, just choices. And today, you decide who you are. So look at yourself in the mirror and say it. Today I choose to live with greatness. Not because it's easy, not because everything is in your favor, but because this is your life, and only you can make it truly worthwhile. Don't wait any longer. Start now. Building the life you want is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of choice. Every morning is an opportunity to decide who you are going to be, what attitude you will take, and how you will face the day. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control what you tell yourself when you wake up. And that, my friend, changes everything. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "My words are my greatness." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.